Samar jolted awake, his heart pounded in his chest. The clock on his nightstand glared back at him. 2 a.m. The insistent ringing of his phone sliced through the silence. He fumbled for the device, his hand trembling slightly.
Hello?
Silence. Then a soft giggle echoed from the other end. It was a familiar laugh, one that sent shivers down his spine. Fear tightened its icy grip around Samar's throat, squeezing the air from his lungs. The laughter grew louder, more distorted, more menacing. He knew that laugh. It couldn't be. He slammed the phone down, ending the call abruptly. Samar lay in bed, his body trembling. He tried to rationalize the call, to dismiss it as a prank. But deep down, a seed of dread had been sown. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Morning found Samar pale and drawn. He hadn't slept a wink. The memory of the call, the laughter, played on a loop in his mind. He needed to talk to someone, to share the burden of his fear. He called his friend Rahul. Rahul listened patiently as Samar recounted the events of the night.
Someone's messing with you, buddy.
At first he dismissed it as a prank call, but Samar's next words hung heavy in the air.
It was Nidhi's laugh. I know it was her.
The colour drained from Rahul's face. Nidhi, Samar's younger sister, had died 5 years ago. A knot of anxiety tightened in Samar's stomach. He had to know who was behind the call. Rahul, his initial skepticism fading, agreed. They decided to visit the telecom office, hoping to trace the number. The office was bustling with activity. After a long wait, they finally met with a representative. The representative listened patiently to their story, his expression unreadable. After checking the records, he informed them that the number was unregistered. Disappointment washed over Samar. He felt a surge of frustration. They were back to square one. Then, the representative mentioned that the call had been routed through a local exchange near Samar's old family home. The windows, dark and empty, stared back at them like the eyes of a predator. Weeds sprouted from cracks in the driveway, and the paint peeled from the walls like shedding skin. The house, once filled with laughter and life, now stood desolate and abandoned. Memories of their childhood, both happy and painful, flooded Samar's mind. The drive to Samar's old house was filled with a heavy silence.
I can almost feel her here, Rahul. It's like she's lingering in the air, like a half-forgotten dream.
A shiver ran down Samar's spine.
Yeah, man, this place, it gives me the creeps.
They stood there, taking in the eerie sight of the once vibrant home, now just a shadow of its former self. As they stepped inside the house, the air grew thick with dust and decay. The musty smell of neglect filled their nostrils. Samar led Rahul to the living room, where a dusty old landline phone sat on a small table. He picked it up, his fingers brushing against something sticky. He brought his hand closer to his face, his heart pounding in his chest. It was blood.
Oh my God!
Panic surged through him as he dropped the phone back onto the table, as if it were a venomous snake. Rahul, his face pale, stared at the bloody phone in disbelief.
What does this mean?
He whispered, his voice trembling. Samar didn't have an answer. A new wave of fear washed over him, colder and more terrifying than before.
I don't know, but this isn't good.
The unsettling discovery left them both shaken as the sense of unease grew stronger. That night, sleep evaded Samar once more. He tossed and turned, the image of the bloody phone seared into his mind. Just as he was about to drift off, his phone rang again. He froze, his blood turning to ice. The same childish laughter echoed from the receiver, but this time it was laced with a chilling malice.
You couldn't save me then.
The voice hissed, each word dripping with venom.
And you can't escape me now. You killed me, Samar. You left me to die.
Samar's blood ran cold. He wanted to scream, to deny the accusations, but the words died in his throat. The voice continued to taunt him, accusing him of unspeakable horrors. He fumbled for the disconnect button, finally ending the call. But the damage was done. The seed of doubt had been planted.
No, this can't be happening.
The accusations echoed in his mind, leaving him in a state of utter terror. Samar sat on the edge of his bed, his mind racing. The voice on the phone, the bloody landline, the chilling accusations, it all felt like a nightmare. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to it.
Was Needy's death truly an accident? Or had I, consciously or unconsciously, played a role in her demise?
The thought sent a wave of nausea through him. He had to find out the truth, no matter how terrifying it might be.
But where do I even begin?
He sat alone in the darkness, his face illuminated by the faint glow of his phone, lost in thought, his expression a mixture of fear, confusion, and determination.